You were off a decimal point.
Mm-hmm.
I see you corrected.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Would you have those contracts available for next week?
Yes.
I think one of them that we probably need to look at, maybe it was your recommendation, was the ambulance one.
Mm-hmm.
I talked with the fire chief yesterday, actually,
Yes.
regarding it, and he said, you know, it's
Redundant?
it's based on facts that is set by the fire precinct as to what they charge other places.
But
What
this
they
is
charge a
totally
town of
separate
Conway.
from fire and rescue.
Yeah, I think
Why?
you'll look.
I don't understand why, like, in Albany,
Yep.
we're paying $80,000 a year for fire and rescue.
Yep.
But
But do
we
they
get transported to the hospital.
They transport though,
Yeah.
where North Conway doesn't transport.
So
So we have to have somebody transport. Conway
So is that the reason
Village
for-
is too far away from Hale's location to do
So
that.
North Conway does not transport,
North Conway Fire does not transport.
does not transport.
That's right. Right.
And how long is the contract? When is it up?
Yeah.
The ambulance contract will be up December 2012.
Oh, okay.
Both
And,
contract.
I'm not sure about the fire.
Okay.
And is there a cost to the resident for the use of the ambulance service?
Yes, yes, they also get invoiced for their,
So what is the purpose of the contract then?
Guarantee that
to
somebody will be there.
guarantee, yeah, yes.
In North Conway, we had ambulance covered. When my wife got injured on a ski trail, it cost us $300 to the ambulance service to transport her from
Mhm.
back at John Fuller School, which was probably less than 2 miles from the hospital. It was $300 just to transport.
Mhm.
Yeah, when
It
I
was an
had,
additional cost.
yeah, I had an accident in the town. And the ambulance service, I don't even know what, but some ambulance service came, and it must have been the North Conway, and they transported me to the hospital, and I received the bill.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
All right.
We have no figures for revenue for 2012.
That
Now, are there any figures?
estimated, you mean?
Yeah. Are there any figures that we can use to reduce the rate?
As far as revenue, you mean?
Yeah. It looks like, under revenue, under meals and room,
Mhm. was-
we had estimated 5,000, we got 12,000.
And that's because I had received meals and room after the new year, and I deposited it as 2011, when it actually should have been 2010.
10, okay.
So this is actually 2 years' worth,
Okay,
where I just received 2011.
okay.
So I'm making these minor adjustments to make the years more clear
Okay.
as far as revenue.
And motor vehicle permit fees, that is done through Conway,
That is done through Conway. That is collected through Conway.
but we do receive a revenue,
That is the revenue from Conway.
okay?
And then we pay back $1,000 a quarter plus 5% of the revenue,
Right.
which is the 5,550 at the top there.
Okay.
The audit was increased.
Question about the election
Mhm.
costs. I thought they had thrown out, that Conway had thrown out Hales.
That is not up to Conway to make that decision. That is up to the Secretary of State's office, and they have not made that decision yet.
So, primary, where are they gonna go to vote?
They're going to Conway
Going
for
to
the
Conway.
primary.
Okay.
Mhm. And I was saying the audit was increased, was overspent because I had them put together the MS5 report, which is the
Yeah.
financial report,
Yep.
which I just think it's more professional for the DRA to be looking at those reports rather than, what I'm putting together
Mhm.
right here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But you only budgeted 17 for
Yeah,
2012?
that should probably be increased. This was also, I believe, the result of 2 audits, because when Nancy left,
Yep.
he had to do an audit then, and then another audit at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
maybe it probably won't be $3,600, but
Yeah.
I can call and ask and see what he would estimate.
Get a more. And I don't understand why there are no figures on the revenue.
That's what I asked for.
Can we not figure out property tax collected and come up with
The
some?
property tax collected, that number that I put there, the 252,000, is all of the taxes that I have collected in
Right. Can we not make an
2011.
estimate on what it
So
would be for next year?
projected, see, it's to be determined by the Department of Revenue.
I see.
So whatever we budget, whatever's approved for a budget is what will be taxed on for 2012.
I see.
But we should be getting in, if motor vehicle permit fees stay roughly the same, we should be getting in at least 30,000 now.
The 28,000 is for 4 quarters.
Okay.
However, I have not received 4th quarter of 2011 yet.
Okay.
But again, last year, when I received the 4th quarter from 2010, it was January, and I made that deposit in January. Therefore, that's reflected in this number.
Okay.
So I could add that 4th quarter into this figure, but next year,
It'll be
different.
Yeah.
It'll be down.
Yeah.
And the question might be, why is it down?
I think we need to come up with a figure for permit fees for motor vehicles. That's the only one I think.
Mhm.
Well, the rooms and meals tax, that probably would remain as almost
think
close
it
to
would,
same. So we could
unless the
estimate,
state does away with it.
5,000 there and another 25,000 at least on the motor vehicles.
Yes. Yes,
So
I've
it's
seen a
30,000
decrease.
that we could drop it by.
I've seen a decrease.
Have you?
People aren't buying as new a vehicle.
cars.
Therefore, the manufactured prices aren't as high. Therefore, the fees are lower.
Yeah. I think next week also you ought to have what the surplus is.
Yeah. Yes, and I emailed Laurie from the association asking her if Jeff from the maintenance department had a few figures for us for resurfacing the roads.
Oh, yeah, oh, right.
Because we're going to use some of, the surplus
Yep.
towards that. And I asked for 1/3 of the roads, half the roads, and all the roads.
Okay.
So you can decide
Okay.
how much of the surplus you'd like to use.
Good. Would you get in touch with Dick Check? He's supposed to be the contact between us and the association. Remember, we met at that meeting, and I think I got a letter, or it was determined at that meeting that he would be the representative. I think I got an email from him after.
You did, okay.
Yeah, so check with him
Okay.
the next time you're there, or give him a call later tonight or whatever,
Okay.
to make sure that things are all set up for next week.
Okay.
If he knows of anybody that's coming. And I guess the next question is, how did we advertise the meeting for next week?
I put it on their tax bills.
We're on our tax bills.
And just about everybody who has come in knows about the meeting.
Okay, okay.
Any questions about how to get there? Or get here?
Nobody has asked.
They just go to Ossipee.
Ossipee.
When you get in touch with Dick Check, just ask him if he has, if anybody is in need of directions. Damon?
I was just wondering what the bottom line proposed budget figure is, and what percentage is it different than last year?
I'm not sure on the percentage difference of last year, but there's quite an increase because of the 2 new students that have moved in.
Roughly 44,000.
And what's the bottom line budget?
Well, without adding the revenue in, the bottom line is going to change.
Yeah.
And it could change to 200,000, which would be a $20,000 increase. Mainly caused by the students. The student up there, the student that we budgeted for was 40,000, and it's 84 we're proposing for 2012. So there's 44,000 right there, just students. And everything else almost remains the same.
So the Hales location to operate is 200,000 plus the 20,000 for the students. So your budget is 220,000. It's going to be enough.
Roughly.
Okay. And this is a public hearing?
Yeah, it's open to the public.
No, I mean that's what it is to present the budget to the public.
Basically to the commissioners next week, we're going to have a review.
Yeah. When Commissioner Kenny and I didn't think you were away, and Kathy met with the association, and this is what they wanted. They want to have some input into their budget. And so what we did was...
Like a town meeting.
Like a town meeting? Well, not quite, but they wanted some input, so we're going to give them a chance to voice any concerns that they have.
So it's almost like the delegation's public hearing on the budget. This is what it's sort of like.
We're going to present the
Sort of.
budget, but in this particular case, the delegation would approve of their budget later on
Right.
during their normal session.
I mean, is this the meeting where decisions will be made, or is this a meeting just to present the budget and tell people what's up?
We're going to
That's why
present the
it's-
budget, and it gets approved by the delegation before
It'll
they
be a
adjourn.
review rather than a
Yeah.
public hearing.
Yeah.
It's a review. They don't have a vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Legally, they don't have a vote.
Because they're the selectmen of.
Right. So the commissioners are going to listen to what they want.
And the delegation approves the Hales location
Yeah.
budget?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Mr. Brown.
Clarification, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
You stated before that Carroll County was responsible for the education for Hale's location.
No.
You-
No.
Hale's location is responsible for paying the student tuition to Conway.
So because I know. you
Carroll
stated-
County has nothing to do.
But then you just stated we don't. So we don't have any, Carroll County is not obligated to pay for
No.
any part of the education for Hale's location.
No part of Hale's location budget at all.
Carroll County is the three of us are the managers, like selectmen,
Selectmen, right.
Yeah.
for Hale's location. And that is the only relationship that we have.
Yeah.
There is not a monetary relationship.
There's no cost,
No.
obligation to Carroll County whatsoever for
No.
Hale's location?
No, that's right.
Their voters don't vote on it, they don't have a warrant article or, okay.
No.
Then this is
They're
totally,
not a town. They're
We've
an
tried to-
unincorporated place.
totally different system. than
We
I-
tried to
Different.
convince them they ought to be a town, but they haven't come to
They
that.
want nothing to do with
Yeah,
the majority of them.
yeah.
I have a
Go
question
ahead.
by the financial administration. What is the $9,000 again? By business
$9,000 for business
Yeah.
administration. Anything that we deal with, whether we get calls from them, or whether we, approve the budget, work on the budget, anything that we send out by our secretaries, that's in addition to what Kathy does under administrative salary. Hers is administrative salary. Ours is $9,000. It comes into the county, and it doesn't come to us individually. It goes into the county budget. Okay. Anything else we want to talk about regarding this budget? Huh?
Nothing on the budget.
All right, make copies of this. I don't know how many to make, but
Yeah.
for the general public for next,
Yeah, and I'll just make the adjustment to
Wednesday
that
at
audit line. I'll call and get an estimate from him and see what he says.
yeah, okay.
And that'll probably be the only thing that gets increased. And then I'll add the estimated revenue.
Yeah,
It's all estimates.
Yep, yep.
I really can't predict taxes.
be a little on the conservative side on revenue.
Okay.
And we'll just explain that that's estimates.
Definitely. There's nothing you can predict, so.
But in looking at this, we collected property taxes, $252,000. right?
And that's not just